Good morning and welcome to KidNuz, sponsored today by Bamboo Learning. I'm Kim. It's Friday, August 21st, 2020, and we begin with the biggest fish caught in the college admission scandal headed to the fryer. Today, it's sentencing day for actress Lori Loughlin, who plays Aunt Becky on Fuller House. She and her husband were charged last year in the college admissions scandal for paying $500,000 to get their two daughters into the University of Southern California as fake crew recruits. Originally, the actress and her fashion designer husband said they were not guilty, but this spring quickly changed course and took a plea deal. Prosecutors recommend she get 2 months behind bars and he get 5, plus pay a steep fine and serve 100 hours of community service. The judge will ultimately decide the punishment for the high-profile pair. Their two daughters, ages 20 and 21, have not been charged with any crimes from this investigation. Lebron James is straddling sports to bring out the vote in November. The basketball great has teamed up with the Dodgers to turn their baseball home into a giant polling place. Not only will Los Angeles County residents be able to cast their ballots with plenty of elbow room on Election Day itself, but they'll be able to do so for the 5 days prior as well. And while the Dodgers are the first baseball team to open their stadium to democracy, they aren't alone in the sporting world. 3 basketball organizations are also pledging their arenas to the cause: the Milwaukee Bucks, Sacramento Kings, and Atlanta Hawks. On the other side of the world, a different response to trying to hold an election during a pandemic. New Zealand is postponing their election by a month after a new cluster of coronavirus cases continued to spread through the city of Auckland despite a lockdown. The election was supposed to happen on September 19th, but has been moved to October 17th. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, who has the sole authority to determine when people cast their ballots, says she consulted with all the major parties before making her decision. And she confirmed that the October date is final. Even if there's a spike in COVID cases, the election will still be held on the new date. Break out the masks for your younger brothers and sisters. The American Academy of Pediatrics is issuing new coronavirus prevention recommendations for even the tiniest tots. The medical group is urging parents, along with big brothers and sisters, to make facial coverings part of the new normal for anyone over the age of 2. Doctors say kids will adapt, just like they did to bike helmets and car seats. The new guideline came out as the CDC issued a stark warning for all Americans: mask up, wash your hands, socially distance, and avoid crowds. If not, Director Robert Redfield says we could experience the worst fall in the history of American health. A bit of an oops at the University of Georgia's aquarium, which last year acquired a common octopus. They named him Octavius, and he seemed to be a social butterfly who liked to stick some of his 8 arms out to investigate the weird-looking land mammals, that would be humans, on the other side of the glass. But when the animal curator recently went to clean out the tank, he noticed thousands of tiny particles floating in the water. It turns out the moving dots were babies. The octopus they thought was a male was actually a pregnant female. Of the approximately 10,000 little ones, some have been released into a local river, some will grow up in nursery tanks, and the rest will be raised in a nearby research lab. That's it for KidNuz today. Now the KidNuz quiz. LeBron James wants what prominent location to be turned into a polling place in November? Dodger Stadium. Why is New Zealand postponing its election day by 1 month? A cluster of COVID cases in the city of Auckland. Who is getting sentenced today for their involvement in the college admissions scandal? Fuller House actress Lori Loughlin and her husband. Approximately how many babies did an octopus produce? 10,000. In One for the Road, election season is now in full swing, and you're going to be hearing and seeing a lot from President Trump, who wants to retain the presidency, and from Mr. Biden, who wants to take his place. They'll be flying and driving their way across the country, hoping to connect with the American public and win votes. But the first chief executive to use the automobile for a public appearance was Theodore Roosevelt on this weekend in 1902. He was also the first president to be submerged in a submarine, the first to have a telephone in his home, and the first to entertain an African American in the White House. There's a lot to know about our 26th president, and to learn more, just say, "Alexa, open Bamboo Luminaries." Before we go, we have KidNuz birthday shout-outs for Caroline in Lexington, Kentucky, Sydney and Izzy in Tampa, Florida, in Massachusetts, Elena in Pembroke, Luna in Newton, in California, Augustine in Camarillo, Liliana and Lydia in San Leandro, and Javier in San Diego. To Illinois for Bobby in Mount Prospect and Amelia in Washington. Also, Kira in Ballito, South Africa, Caleb in Petershagen, Germany, and Miko in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Thanks for listening, everyone. And if you want to listen on Alexa, just say, "Alexa, play the KidNuz podcast." Have a great weekend, and we hope you tune in for more KidNuz Monday morning.